All right, now this is something we have been following very closely here on the Intelligence Report, the carried interest loophole, which still exists in the newly signed tax bill and is something the president promised to do away with. Well, guess what? We've discovered a way that he can close it and save taxpayers $180 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? Could pay for the wall or could make a huge dent in our deficit. And President Trump wouldn't even need to consult Congress to make it happen. Here to explain, American Majority CEO Ned Ryan and Kaltbaum Capital Management President Gary Kaltbaum. Good to see you both.
Thanks, Trish.
First of all, this is big news in that we have now learned he might be able to do this himself. Ned, if he goes to Treasury and asks for a reinterpretation of the law, walk us through it.
That's right. No, the thing that the viewers need to understand, Trish, is how fundamentally unfair this carried interest loophole is. It, again, is one of the examples of Washington, D.C. picking winners and losers, specifically Congress, because, again, the greatest beneficiaries of this just happen to be some of the biggest political donors to Congress. The private equity guys put in tens of millions of dollars a year into reelects and, oh, by the way, get to walk away with billions of dollars a year from this special carve-out. And the real fundamental question here, Trish, is are the private equity guys partners with their investors, or are they service providers for their investors? Because right now they want it both ways.
Yeah, but they're service providers. Unless it's their money. But I don't begrudge anyone a lower tax rate if you take on that risk. It's money you've already paid taxes on. But in the case of these guys, they're not doing that, are they, Gary?
No, they're getting a fee based on the profits. And, you know, I was interested when I read all this. All they have to do is Mnuchin go to the IRS, get a different interpretation from what happened about 25 years ago, make the business income taxed, and voila. But unfortunately, there is so much money in the system. I think it would have been done by now, and I don't think there's enough pressure. And if you notice anything, I don't see a lot of Democrats yelling about this either.
No, because they're all getting money, too. We have some graphics we can show you guys, because it's mind-boggling. I mean, Mitch McConnell getting more than $3 million from none other than one guy, Steve Schwartzman. Who's a big private equity guy making more than $400 million a year. It's kind of nice if you're Steve Schwartzman and you only have to pay 20% tax. I mean, I don't know how much of that is income and how much he counts as investment. But, you know, he's got deep pockets. He's donating money. And he's effectively encouraging those lawmakers to keep this loophole wide open.
To stay silent. To stay silent. Trish, here's what can happen. Treasury, under Section 707 of the tax code, has broad discretion and can redefine, recharacterize transaction as to whether somebody might be trying to act as a partner when in fact they're not a partner. They are in fact a service provider. And you can look at the code under Section 707. And so that's why I said last week with you, Trump can pick up the phone. He can call Secretary Mnuchin and say, we need to address this issue. We don't need Congress. We can act unilaterally on this and close the loophole.
I think he wanted Congress to do it. Gary Cohn says, and if we take him at his word, they tried 25 times, and there was no will among the Democrats or the Republicans to close this loophole, again, because they're getting so much money from all of the private equity industry. And so there was no will, and the president really did want them to close it. I mean, we've run the sound over and over again on the show, showing him on the campaign trail, saying, look, it only benefits these guys, and we need the system to benefit Americans. And it's not right what they're doing. It's really actually quite fraudulent when you think about it. But, Ned, they've done this before, by the way. Treasury has gone out there during the Barack Obama administration and said, we're not going to allow these inversions anymore, these companies that are trying to relocate to Ireland, really, when they're American companies, because it's not right. And so they made that decision absent of Congress, and it sounds like you're telling me they can do it again.
That's right. No, there's precedent for there is precedent for this. There's precedent because of what Obama did, and so Trump can do the exact same thing. You wish Congress would take this up, because call me idealistic, Trish. I thought this was a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, not for special interests. And so it would be great if Congress would pick up this issue. Trump was fundamentally right in 2016 when he was talking about the carried interest loophole being unfair. It is, again, in my mind, a microcosm of what is wrong with D.C., a ruling class benefiting themselves. Trump was right. Trump can do this. He can do it unilaterally, and I would strongly encourage him, if nothing else, to show people, again, he's going to keep yet another campaign promise. He's going to fulfill that, and he can do it, and he can do it with literally a phone call.
We were just running some of these graphics which show you how much money some of the Democrats have received, how much money the Republicans have received, and you understand why there's absolutely no will in Congress to fix this inequity, which indeed it is an inequity.